this, but I've been reading up on fighting nerves in front of people. So if y'all wouldn't mind picturing me in my underwear, I hear that helps. Okay, thanks. So, just kidding, by the way. My name's Luke Simpson. As Casey said, I'm a senior physics major, and I'm on the swim team here at Clarion, and also newly involved in FCA. A few weeks ago, Gerard asked me if I could give a talk today about where I am in my faith, and as you can see, I said yes, which kind of brings us to where we are right now. So I'm going to start off my story on how I figured out my faith.
Feel free to take that off if you want. You hold it.
So faith can mean anything that you want it to, and everyone has their own definition or reasoning for their faith. I guess the best way to start off my talk is to define what faith actually means to me. My definition of faith is not just to have verses and chapters memorized from the Bible or measure it by who goes to church every Sunday. My definition has to do with recognizing that life isn't in your hands and recognizing that things aren't going to go your way, and sometimes when they don't, you can always have your faith to fall back on and keep pushing you forward. It's the optimistic thought that when life brings you down, there's going to be someone or something there right there that can pick you right back up. So growing up, I was always raised to say my prayers and thank God for what He's done for me, but I didn't really take time to think about that until more recently. I'm going to share a couple stories about my life that have had a major impact on the way I see faith. In 2008, I lost my grandfather. This is really hard for me and my family because he and my grandmother lived right down the street from my house. I would go there every day after school to play cards and watch game shows and help them around the house. And then once Papu, that's Greek for grandfather, once he started to get sick, I would help take care of him. So when he passed, it was something that I didn't really know how to deal with. My grandfather's wife, my yaya, she lost her battle to lung cancer 2 years ago. I realized I still hadn't learned to grieve and to be able to move past my papa's death. I tried a few things to learn to grieve, and I thought that I was doing a little bit better. I tried counseling with the school, talking with friends, and picking up new hobbies, but it just led to me being distracted by everything that I was feeling. So I started to hang out with my other grandparents more, and they became my best friends. I'd go over and cut the grass and do all kinds of yard work and with my pap, and Grandma would always be there with drinks and sandwiches for us. I ended up spending a lot more time with them, especially because Pap was fighting with colon cancer, and Grandma was beginning her struggle with Alzheimer's and had to move into a care facility. It wasn't long until my Pap's health proved to be too much for him. After receiving a call that he had fallen in the night and had to go to the hospital, it wasn't long until we got the news that he didn't make it. This was another devastating blow. He was my best friend and also my biggest fan in the pool, so it was really hard to carry on without him. Not long after that, my grandma's Alzheimer's took a turn for the worse, to the point that in her last few months, she didn't recognize me as her grandson anymore. She would call me Dean sometimes, which is actually my Pap and my dad's name. As sad as it was watching her go, I hung on to the thought that she was going to be happy with Pap again, but losing both sets of grandparents was really hard for us. I started to feel like there was a black cloud that was following me and my family and making everything really difficult. So I wanted to start getting more familiar with my faith because of my brother Reuben. Although my brother Reuben wasn't actually my brother, we didn't share blood, he still is without a doubt my brother. He grew up with my older brother John and has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, and his faith has played a huge part in my life and has had such a positive impact on me. As I got older, I was able to watch how well Reuben's life was influenced through his faith. He was always there for me and always ready to pray for my family and I. And through his faith, he was able to help us and be there for us through our struggles. As time went on, I started to speak with Reuben less and less. He was in school and he was given all kinds of opportunities to speak at places in the South, so he was never really home. And he was always pretty busy regardless. However, when he called me, we would always talk about school and life and nutrition and working out because we were both trying to put on weight. But then I later found out that he was trying to gain weight because he was sick. And he was fighting with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So last semester on March 15th, I was sitting at work here at the pool and I got a call from my mom. She told me that Ruby passed away and I lost it. I told the people I was working with that I had to leave. I had no idea how to comprehend what had happened. I spent the whole night just trying to understand. I started to become angry about it. and I was angry that something or someone was taking all these people away from me that I really cared about. And I started separating myself from people who were important in my life because it seemed like every time I got close to someone, they were taken away from me. I was having a really hard time keeping my faith because I thought that God was taking these people away from me. And I was struggling with my definition of faith and couldn't find the answers by myself. Then I thought about how I had a few conversations with Gerard. He probably told me one of the most helpful things that I needed. He told me that God has a reason for everything, and he said that God allows our struggles to happen so that we can grow and learn to live and learn to love well. He also suggested that I change my perspective from sadness of the losses to looking to see what I have learned from these people that I've lost. So I began to find things that I learned about myself through the people that I've lost. I've learned that it's really important to love people. Ruben taught me to take that even further by showing me the real definition of family. He taught me that regardless of blood, race, religion, or anything else, you can love others like they're your own family. That lesson is important because it's allowed me to love my teammates, my friends, any significant others, and any other relationship that I might encounter in the future in deeper ways than I ever imagined. So it's been my faith and my time with Gerard that have helped me recognize what some of the life lessons and the hardships I've been through have taught me. I've grown very fond of a phrase that Gerard uses sometimes when we talk, and that's loving well. Through all the hard times that life has thrown at me, I know that there will always be something that will pick me back up. I want to be someone who practices loving well and finding peace in knowing that I can't control everything that happens in my life. I still struggle sometimes, and I'm still trying to figure everything out, but what I do know is that through my faith in God, I have someone bigger than me to turn to and learn from when life gets tough.